Hello, everybody. This is Tom, your host for the Hidden Truths channel. It is August 26, 2025. How's everybody doing today? I hope you're having a great day. Today, we're going to talk about a couple stories about where people that are the victims are being charged with crimes. Anyway, first one we're going to go to the most recent one, Scotland. Just happened. I'm sure you may have seen the video on it already, but these two girls that are sisters, 12 and 14, are walking the street and they're being harassed by this 28-year-old that believes in Aloha Snack Bar. And he's trying to coerce them. Anyway, he's being an ass to try to get them to have sex with him, okay? To the point where this 14-year-old girl has to pull out a knife and supposedly a hatchet too to protect her and her little sister, telling her to keep her hands off her little sister. Okay? 14 years old. Anyway, she's a hero, right? No, she's a criminal because she had a blade on her. Okay? So she's a criminal that she was trying to sit there and ford off the aggression of a 28-year-old pedophile man from a different country. She's a hero in my eyes. My girls were always taught to stand up for themselves. And that's another question I got. That 14-year-old girl was walking around with blades and a hatchet. Obviously, she must have had to deal with this before. And she decided that she's not going to be thrown into a van and disappeared because the list doesn't exist, right, Trump? Just imagine what would have happened if this girl wouldn't have done that, okay? But yeah, now she's being charged with having a weapon. It's going to open up the discussion on being able to protect yourself. But you got to remember, the higher ups want you to be a victim, the law-abiding people to be a victim. But I guess, and then they let her go on bail, and there's a petition trying to get her to drop the charge. 14 years old. Having to carry blades to protect her and her 12-year-old sister from these sick perverts. And I guess they did arrest him for some crime. But then he sits there, and on this video, right, he's talking English to these girls, right? But when he gets arrested, he can't speak English. Okay. And he's the one who made the video and released it. Kind of reminds me of the Shiloh Hendricks situation, doesn't it? Where they tried to make her as a criminal when she was being harassed and tormented by an illegal videotaping it. Anyway, yeah, I still like to know what that guy was doing in that park by himself, checking out 5-year-olds that are there by themselves. But anyway, so this girl's getting charged. She's a hero. She should be treated as a hero. And I'm sure her 12-year-old sister looks at her that way. And maybe the Irish government needs to come up with a solution so a 14-year-old girl doesn't have to walk around with blades to protect them from the people that are invading their country. I'm sure no politician's kid has to worry about that. By the way, kudos to that 14-year-old. I wish some adults in this country could have the gonads she did. Okay? One of my daughters, I want to make a shirt up for that said, even though I have a pussy, I still have bigger balls than you do. Oh yeah, that's the way I raise my kids. Anyway, so let's hope this story wakes a few people up. Anyway, crazy time. Insanity, right? 14-year-old girl gets charged with a crime when she's just trying to defend her and her sister from somebody who wants to do harm to him sexually. And like I say, she must have been harassed before because if she was carrying the blades, she knew the danger. That's what I got to say on that. And then we go to the U.S. case. In Cincinnati, remember when those two white folk got the shit kicked out of them because they were at a jazz tournament? I guess they were inciting their ass whooping because they showed up at a jazz tournament, jazz festival. Yep. Got their ass handed to them. The lady got beat so bad, knocked unconscious, and she came conscious. She had to make sure she got to the hospital. No cop showed up, no EMS, nothing. Okay? And now the guy who got his ass beat, the white guy, is going to get charged, is charged. Where can you go from here? Nobody that beat their ass, they had a right to do that because Whitey looked at him wrong. Good job, Cincinnati. Good job. It's all these white liberal pieces of shit that are causing all this. Okay? But anyway, this is the world we live in. So you have to become a victim, and then when you become a victim, you're still going to get charged with a crime. Well, the thugs get to go free. But I guess the government's probably learning that from their actions. Thuggery and shit, getting away with it. This is the crazy world we live in, people. Crazy world we live in. And it's only going to end when we decide to stand up for ourselves and say no more. I mean, I won't allow myself to be arrested. And, if I'm being monitored, I'm not going to allow myself to be arrested just because of what I say on this channel. It's time for the well-regulated militia to organize. That's all us vets. Hear that, government? It's time for the well-regulated militia to organize. Okay? Yep. But anyway, and more people are figuring it out every day. But I know I'm not going to become a victim. There's no way in hell. I'm not going to become a victim of my fellow citizen or my government that's supposed to be my servant. One day our government's going to get put in its place. And there's going to be a lot of justice that's going to be divvied out. Anyway, hope to see everybody on my live stream tonight. Could be interesting because, you know what? I'm a little hot. Everybody have a great day. This is Tom with the Hidden Truths. I'm out of here.